So how can you take $10,000 and turn it into $400,000 to take care of your loved ones? Well, the good news is there's a way to do this using what we call a Survivorship IUL. Jason Herring, our IUL expert, went through this process and set this up for a couple. When you do a survivorship, you're setting up a legacy plan for the last of a couple to pass to their beneficiaries. We're going to jump in with Jason, then I'll be back just to summarize. Take it away, Jason.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Hello, everyone. Jason Herring here at Insurance and Estates, serving as your IUL specialist. So today, let's talk a little bit about Survivorship Indexed Universal Life. Now, a lot of the videos that you've watched here with us at Insurance and Estates around IULs, most of the videos we make are built around cash value accumulation. They're built around low death benefits, high cash value growth, so that you can one day utilize that cash value for tax-free retirement income later on in life. And while that is a large portion of what we do here on a day-to-day basis, we also have extensive knowledge in designing legacy plans, wealth transfer plans for couples that are just trying to figure out what is the best way, what's the most tax advantaged way to get assets, to get money to the next generation. You know, guys, each and every day for the next 15 years, we have 10,000 Americans turning age 65. And with all of these people getting older, turning 65, approaching age 70, 72, there is a lot of qualified, pre-tax money sitting on the sidelines that is going to go into circulation when you turn age 72 and you have to start taking required minimum distributions. So what we see a lot of times is that people have a very comfortable living. They get close to retirement. They're in retirement. They're living off of Social Security. They're living off of pensions and other investments, and they just don't need to start taking money from their qualified accounts that have never been pre-taxed, but are sitting there tax deferred. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith here came to us about a year ago, and they were in this same situation, okay? Mr. Smith was looking to have to start taking required minimum distributions, and the amount on an annual basis was going to be right around $10,000. Well, they did not need this money, and they were trying to decide, Jason, do we just turn around and give this money to our kids or our grandkids, or what? Do you have any better ways to maximize this money and leverage it so that we could turn it into even more benefit down the road for our family? So what we were able to do is we showed them the second to die, or the survivorship chassis here with Prudential. And luckily for the two of them, they both came back in excellent health. They had preferred non-tobacco ratings. So we took a $10,000 annual premium and we immediately turned it into $400,000 of tax-free death benefit for the family. So that is whether they make one premium payment or they pay that $10,000 all the way out till age 100. No matter what, once both of them pass away, and that is why insurance companies like this survivorship product, because they don't have to pay the death benefit out until the death of the second insured. So if Mr. Smith were to pass away 5 to 7 years into the policy, the $10,000 would still be payable until Mrs. Smith passes away, and then at that time the $400,000 would be paid out tax-free to the family. So what type of return did Mr. and Mrs. Smith realize or have on this money? Well, let's take them out 20 years, okay? Probably for their ages, their life expectancy is probably somewhere around age 89 to 90. But let's give them a couple more years because they were in such good health. Let's take them out to age 91 and 92, 20 years out. You can see the total premium outlay for those 20 years is $200,000. So even if both of them live for 20 years and pay in $200,000, they are still guaranteed to double their investment, $200,000 into $400,000 from a tax-free standpoint. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith were very intrigued by this, but they were also trying to figure out, does it make sense just to put that $10,000 into some type of brokerage account and leave that money to them instead of doing some type of life insurance policy? Well, there's two things that they had to answer for me that they couldn't when they were trying to decide to use it inside the brokerage account. The first one being, what's the guaranteed rate of return on the money? Okay. Of course, we can't come up with that when we're looking at dealing with the market. We can't come up with any type of guaranteed return. The second thing that they could not answer for me is, how long do you have to grow this money? Now, all of us would like to think that we're going to live to life expectancy, but what happened if Mr. and Mrs. Smith pass away 2 years in to that plan? Then we might only have about $30,000 or so in there. What the survivorship chassis allows for these clients is that from day one, with a $10,000 premium payment, has locked in that $400,000 death benefit, and it has also provided a very attractive internal rate of return on the relationship between premiums paid and the benefits received for the family. So I like Prudential because they run this tax equivalent internal rate of return over here. And what you'll see is, let's go 20 years out. And at the end of year 20, these clients are still receiving a 9.57% tax equivalent internal rate of return on this asset. So what does that mean? That means that they would have to go out into some other asset and place this $10,000 in and guaranteed to receive a 9.57 tax equivalent internal rate of return to simply match what this second to die, what this survivorship chassis was able to do for them and their family. So obviously they were very excited about this. They saw the value in the investment. They saw the value in the internal rate of return, and they locked this in for the betterment of their family. So guys, it's a lot of fun to build cash accumulation plans for you. And like I said, we do that every day here. But I really enjoy taking clients that have some never used money and trying to figure out what's the best way to get this money to the next generation. And with that, Steve, I will turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Jason. So day one, they took $10,000. They got $400,000 in death benefit to provide for their loved ones. This was a second to die, so the last of the couple to pass would then pass that death benefit along to the kids or grandkids. 9.57% internal rate of return over time. That was huge, and it's a guaranteed return. So a lot of advantages for legacy planning here, just to be aware of, and a lot of reasons why you wouldn't just try to put that money into an account in some other form in order to provide for loved ones. This is legacy planning, a little bit different from the high cash value lifetime stuff that we've been doing. All right, if you're interested in this, wherever you are, there's going to be a link below. You can schedule on Jason's calendar. You can also leave comments and questions, and we will respond as long as you keep it classy. See you in the next one.